What about the people and all the benefits that come from being counted in the census? For example, we just referenced one of them, that Latinos, in a way, were put on the map as the result of the 2000 census, because Latinos, in a way, have also been kind of like a hidden minority in this country. Also, all the federal benefits that are pegged to census numbers that determine money that's going to go to schools, to hospitals, to build roads, and so on and so forth. If the undocumented, or the illegals, however we call them, are not counted, then those communities that they happen to live in will wind up being shortchanged.
Let me say first that this is the way that an elected official thinks. Undocumented immigrants, they don't vote. So why should I feel accountable to them? The truth is that once the undocumented immigrants are counted, they're losing an opportunity, which is exactly what we're trying to give them, empowerment, to say, why it should be counted if this system of government is not trying to help me to legalize my status in this country.
So you're seeing not being counted as giving the undocumented or the ones here illegally leverage?
Definitely.
To get change?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And we have been working for 1 year, and so far it has been excellent. The truth is that once elected officials take advantage of those numbers from the census, they don't feel accountable to the undocumented immigrants, even Latino elected officials. Let me give you the example of Antonio Villaraigosa, Los Angeles mayor. $56 million were made last year in revenue for the city of Los Angeles from impounding cars from undocumented immigrants who have to pay a fine for driving without a driver's license. And it is a circle constantly, because once you get your car back, or once you pay your fine, you just go back and buy another car and you continue, because you have to do it. There's no driver's license status.
Okay, so if the undocumented are not benefiting from the count, as it were, but again, what about those who are not here illegally, who are citizens, whose fate, in many ways, is affected by the census and there being an accurate count?
They should definitely participate in the census. As I said before, those who are citizens or legal residents, they should participate in the census. Our concern is only with the undocumented immigrants. It is almost sure that many citizens who have a relative or a member of their family who is undocumented, in solidarity, will not participate in the census. We expect that number not to be too high. But the truth is that our call is a pastoral care call. Members of our churches who happens to be undocumented, do not expose yourselves, do not give more information unless comprehensive immigration reform is accomplished. At this point in time, knowing that it's not going to be accomplished this year, we could be at least expecting. Our deadline is April 1st.
For what?
To start the boycott, basically. Because basically April 1st is when the operators or census operatives will start knocking at the door.
Oh, okay, because the census forms have already been out in the mail.
Exactly. So what we're saying is, do not open your doors, do not say anything, and just keep yourself quiet, which is, by the way, a right, freedom of expression. You have the right to stay quiet. But the truth is that what we're trying to accomplish is at least some changes. And we haven't seen anything from this White House. No changes on deportations, no changes on 287G. On the contrary, more expansion of 287G, more deportations than even when President Bush was in the White House.
We'll come back to that in a second. Before we leave the issue about the census and the count, I wanted to call your attention to the fact that in the Bronx, for example, of all the boroughs in New York City, so far, the mayor just recently was talking about this, that there is a lot of neighborhoods in the city that the percent of people so far filling out those census forms is really very low. The lowest borough is the Bronx. The Bronx is the borough with the largest percentage of Latinos. Is it possible that your efforts may be having more of an effect than you think, and even to some extent encouraging many Latinos who are here legally, for example, Puerto Ricanos or Dominicans who've become legal, Colombians, whatever, are somehow being caught up in this and not participating, and then in a sense undoing their own communities?
Well, our advisors and attorneys thought about that a year ago, and 7 or 8 months ago we came up, and we're on record in the press, that we have decided that in those cities where undocumented immigrants are being treated fairly, we have decided not to push forward with the census boycott. And New York City is one of them. We're very proud of Mayor Michael Bloomberg. He has been a good friend and a champion for comprehensive immigration reform, better than any other mayor in the country. And I expect that the pastors in the city of New York who understand our position, they will not be exposing any more information because it's not needed. But that is not the case in Long Island. We're working very hard in Long Island because we don't want to see people like Stephen Levy or even Congressman Peter King continue doing the harm that they are doing against the undocumented immigrants.
Okay, but then let me highlight this because this is an important point. You're saying the boycott urged on those who are here illegally, the undocumented, that's part of your church's effort and the whole coalition of Latino clergy, that you are not applying that in places like New York City.
New York City.
You're telling those who are here undocumented illegally to participate.
They could participate. New Haven, Connecticut, Miami, Florida, San Francisco, California. It's like 9 or 12 cities. I apologize, I didn't bring the list with me. But those are cities where we are not making any effort. We're just quiet.
That's an important clarification because I don't think many
it's a record. It's a record.
Okay, well, we didn't know that. We want to make sure that the viewers who are watching this know that because that's news. Because they may have been hearing the contrary.